Okay, everybody, welcome back to Inside Story. I'm Kristen Messagey, your host. So today we're doing type 2 with the Jackie Contessa. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I feel honored.
Awesome. So your job is to, as much as possible in these episodes, and of course we do talk theory because that's part of what we do. But ideally, you will be revealing type through the lens of your life. And it's easy, as we know, it's easier to pop into theory. It's easier to describe than to share. So my job is to make you as comfortable as possible. So thanks for being here. It's vulnerable. It's kind of a vulnerable.
I got the vulnerable chill. Do you get that when you know what I'm talking about? When I heard it actually on Diary of a CEO the other day, the vulnerable chill or the shake or whatever, and I got that as you were saying that it's your job to make me feel welcome. I do. I already feel vulnerable because I trusted you and trust you and have trusted you before with some stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm very
Same.
excited. This is going to be great. And as you said, like it is easy to go into theory. I was talking to Jeff recently and I was saying I have a hard time with theory and needing theory to be exact and twos do this and because they do this they don't do that, because I'm like, well, what about Susie? Because I know Susie and I work with Susie, and let me tell you what she does, but let me tell you where she starts. So I think
Totally.
type through my life is funny because for a really long time I knew I've known I'm a two through and through for my entire Enneagram life, but only recently have I started to unabashedly like really be like, yeah, no, you're a two, even if people only think that twos are associated with casseroles. So I'm very excited to talk to you guys about other kinds of twos who use helping as a tool way less than you'd think, you know?
Okay, let's start with this. I heard once and I was like, that is true. I think if the moniker for twos was the advisor, I think so many more twos would find themselves. What do you think about that?
I like advisor. I do like advisor. You know, it's,
Because, can I
yeah,
interject?
please, please, please,
Isn't it true? That's my
please, please.
cross-examination voice. Isn't it true, Jackie, that twos want to be special, right? They want to be special to people. They want to be the one that you go to when you need not just a casserole, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, so listen, every day at 6 a.m., I get some reminders. And one of those reminders, I get to mark it completed every day. I go, yes, baby. And one of those reminders says, I am a need to know person. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
here's
hold on, let's slow that. I am a
a
need
need to
to
know.
know person.
I feel so shy. My hands are sweaty. Okay, well, so here's the thing.
So
Yes,
yes.
we want to be special, and it's funny because I think when we hear that, we do think of fours often, but it's not that kind of. We're
Oh,
we're
it's
not
not that.
trying to fingerprint into. We're not trying to leave a thumbprint into the abyss, right? We're not. God damn! I want someone to open their rib cage and go, there's a space for you. I've been waiting for that. Like, I've been waiting for you. There's a space for you, and I want to crawl right in. Like
Oh,
it's funny because I say this in front of like with my husband in conversation where I'm like I borderline flirt with people everywhere we go because like my sign at the end of a good night is that like one person and I want to run away together. We went to a what? My husband and I went to a wedding in LA recently. It was a lesbian wedding. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever been to my entire life, honestly. Could not stop crying. And like my win was that at the welcome party the night before, this one of the brides, a childhood friend of my husband, she was like, should we kiss? And I was like, I win. I win. I win. Someone liked me a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay,
that
so
is amazing.
advisor, I want to be a need to know person. Advisor is, I think, a good word. I think like helper, giver, lover. These are things that we do. These are tools
Yeah,
that we use
totally.
to. I think being an advisor is also. I can't think of a You know what I wrote down? Vampire.
Oh, we're gonna get real.
I wrote down vampire. I was reading old material and I had the word vampirus written somewhere.
I'm just
Um,
already so thankful because I just think so many of us are learning about the Enneagram,
yeah.
but we're not really able, right? There comes a level of internal capacity to really see yourself through the lens of the Enneagram because it is
Yeah.
not comfortable as we know. I mean, that's the easiest thing to say, but it is really hard. And particularly with twos, let's talk about pride and how that, I think I'll start with the question. You take it wherever you want to go, but
Mhm.
how does pride even get in your way to see what you're doing clearly? Is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's very true. So I think the it, agency genuinely comes really difficultly
Mhm.
for me in my life, right? Like having agency, being like I'm married to a 7, being motivated like my husband to um you know I would love to use enthusiasm to
Sure.
get me to do stuff and I can't. So all this to say, when we have a big sense of agency about something, it's kind of hard to stop us. Like we will borrow from
Mm.
8 in that way, we will borrow from 4 in those ways, and we'll barrel through and we'll do what we want. So pride really cuts me off from why I need to be doing what I'm doing, especially when
Mm.
like so when it comes to another person, my agency is through the roof instantly because that's where all my attention is. Um so one of the things here's a great example of pride in twos is need and how it cuts us. Like, I don't like need. I don't like the concept of need.
In
I,
yourself or
in
just in general?
myself, in myself, I have like, I just got the nervous shake. Like, I have a terrible, I wrote the word hate next to it. So this is all stemming from pride. Okay.
Hmm.
Pride starts this cycle. This is what
Okay.
people need to understand about twos. I'm going to speak for myself as a 2,
Yep.
okay? This is what's going under the hood. I'm hungry for love all the time. I am you don't understand. I am hungry for love all the time.
And I know I don't understand because I know people don't understand what it's like
Yes.
to be
Hmm.
working with fear constantly,
Yes.
whether it's
That's
conscious
what
or
it is.
not. Yes. So I know I don't get it. I totally accept
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Because I have anxiety. I experience anxiety and I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay?
Right.
So I am hungry to be and feel loved in a way that like there's always you know how like you always have dessert stomach. I always have love stomach. I always have love stomach. Okay. And so it's funny because I was having a conversation with Jeff the other day and he said, do you know or do you have any idea what you need? And I said, I have no, like, I know when I cognitively that like what I need is self-investment, time alone.
Mm.
I need that. Blah, 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 blah. No, I know only that I need love. Okay.
Mm.
And it's really difficult to make contact with that because if I make contact with that, then I have to say that there's a lack. And if there's a lack, and what I need is love, and there's a lack, that is a puncture wound, a lack of like acknowledging that I need a little bit more love,
Mm.
that I can meet my own need for that, that another person cannot do that. Like the reason I go to another person, to be completely honest, is because I don't want to make contact with the fact that I feel a little bit loveless or without love. It feels like a puncture. So like
Totally.
need, like I was I was telling somebody like I cried at my first piece of Enneagram material in like since I started like coaching with it this week, and it was like old notes that I had written, and it said something like, it's good to connect with what makes you human and vulnerable, and it is good to need. And I just like broke down because that's hard. Needing is hard. So like that's what people don't understand is like helping, loving. I just want them to love me. I just want them to choose me. I just love hungry.
Yeah.
Love hungry, like food noise, love hungry.
Totally. Okay. I want to keep you here. So can you like give an example if you can? I mean, you're giving tons of
Yeah.
great
Well, no,
description, but
because until you can connect with need very logically, cognitively, even emotionally, cognitively, like being
yeah.
realistic with yourself, right? It's always going to be a manipulation. That other person's
Mm,
always going to be a surrogate for what you are not giving yourself. You can't help it. So we're not talking about your intentions. I'm not saying you put a spell on them and they you got them. No, what I'm saying is that if like get your head out of your ass, that person's a surrogate for what you will not give yourself because you're not making contact with not having need, right? So, um,
totally.
hmm,
So here's
I'm
the way that I've
trying.
heard
Yeah,
this
yeah,
said. Image types, all image types can't hold on to their own image of themselves. So they want it basically constantly mirrored to them. So the image that you desire to have of yourself, you have a hard time holding, which is kind of another way of what I hear you saying. So it's this, if I can get another person to show me that I am what I want to be, then I can see myself how I want to see myself, but it doesn't last. Do you
no,
resonate
because it's
with
not who
that?
we
Yes.
are. 100%. I need other people to respond to me for me. Not. I'm saying it now like it's present tense, right? And I've worked through this, right? So I have my moments. I will struggle with this until I'm 89. It's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I do notice blips, right, in the heart monitor of my sense of self when
Mm,
someone responds A or B, right? Like it's like I say to when I talk to type threes, for example, and I say, you're never not gonna notice what the room wants. You choose to respond to it. You choose to
mm,
stay you, or you choose to, yes, I'm going to. And if you accident, if you choose it without thinking, you go back and you go, that's actually not it. Hold on. And you correct your course correct. It's the same sort of thing when it's not who I really am. I can only project something so much. How do I know that I need something to this day? Something on the outside is telling me that. Like,
give it like an example. Yeah.
I, okay, two examples, right? Relational and physical. Physical, sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, you're fainting because you didn't eat for 2 hours or for 2 days, right?
Right.
With like, you didn't eat properly, you didn't feed your body. Outside source, okay? Nothing in
Right.
the inside is registering that you need something. Sometimes I will catch myself suspended in midair while my husband has this confused look on his face. And I realize that we're in a fight because he didn't read my mind. And something on the outside is saying, you should have backed up before you got here.
Mm,
But nothing alerted me in real time that, and this is what happens when I'm not. When I am relying on someone else's response regularly to give me a stable sense of self instead of um, pouring into myself, investing in myself, and using that as the baseline. Love
yes.
hungry, love hungry, love hungry, love hungry. It's like every time you are hungry for a meal, you go and you grab like a cheese stick. You're
Totally.
constantly starving the entire time, tired, and you're like, why am I shaking? Why am I, you know?
Okay. So this is perfect segue into one of the questions that came from one of my clients.
Mm,
So a six who finds themselves in a work relationship with a two,
hmm
and conflict is very difficult for them. So they will agree on the problem at hand,
hmm
and then it just goes so sideways in
hmm
how to solve the problem.
hmm
And so, just kind of a lot of ways to go there. One of the direct questions was how to repair with a two once things have gone sideways. So, we can do that one. But also, how to move forward. Like, if your way of doing things isn't being valued,
Yeah.
what happens? What's that like? And do you see that it's like maybe a pride thing, or is in that moment is it just locked in on I know how this needs to happen? Take any of those threats.
Okay. It's hard. So, you know how we said earlier that like sometimes theory is so much easier? Something like this is actually difficult because we don't use subtypes to type people, but when I'm
Right.
coaching, subtypes do make a difference. I am interested in every day how you do your why, right?
Mhm.
So it depends.
Well, of course.
It's always going to depend. I will say that the core, no matter what's happening, if you are having, because it could be possible that a person who is a 6 and a person is a 2 both have an idea of the best way of handling something at work, and it doesn't have
For
to,
sure.
and it doesn't have to do with like an interpersonal. It's a little
But
bit
it
sometimes.
gets interpersonal real quick.
Mm.
That's the point. If you have two
That's what needs
people,
repair. That's what
yeah,
needs repair is
yeah,
wherever it got interpersonal. And so
yes.
it's going to
And with a 2
depend.
and a 6, it's going to happen real quick.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a 2, and some of the areas I've had issue with 6s in the past, even in attempting to repair, right, are um because I see everything I do as an investment. When someone starts to get skeptical of my intentions and my agenda, I have a really hard time with that because I cannot prove to you that something does not exist.
Mm,
And one thing about 2s is like if they really love you and they really trust you, um, they're not doing all of that perform stuff for you. There might be few, very, 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 very few. So when that starts to switch, I get what I call like the oh no, which I realized recently is called dread. Um, yeah, she doesn't like to name those feelings, but something in me, and like if I could translate it in that moment, like I'm going back to like a real time where I saw somebody in real time, like go from like a 6, go from within an hour of meeting me, handing me their child, right, to
right.
suddenly getting anxious around me about someone else in my life, and then thinking they could not trust me whatsoever. And I started to, when I was like, oh, I have to prove something that they believe already is happening, like disprove something that they believe is already happening. I'm going to have to, I don't want to use the word perform because that's 3-ish, but like I'm going to have to go into a mode that I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to go to here. 2s don't want to go into that mode. There is a reason that 2s go into giving and helping and loving as a surrogate to connecting with people. We do not think we're lovable as we are. And if I have to start helping and giving and proving, I become somebody I'm not very
Mm.
quickly. And I gotta, me, myself, after doing the work, I gotta go.
So what's the difference between sort of just doing it because it's personality stuff versus someone wants it from you? And that's, you know what I'm
if
asking?
somebody if somebody wants something, what's really funny with 2s is like if somebody wants something directly from us, sometimes it can feel like an infringement on freedom. Like that's the time we know we don't want to do
Yes.
something. Oh my God.
Yes.
When you ask me to help, like, well, not you. Like if someone's
Yeah.
asking me to do something that is very 2-ish, like, listen, I'm always happy to contribute. Like, please ask me to bring ice and paper plates on the way to the party. Like I love to do anything. I love to prepare. I love to bring the cheese board. I love to do all that stuff. But when someone who only associates us with a specific thing asks us to do
Mm,
something because they know we would,
do it.
yes, and also too, like, I'm gonna get really real here, like the expectation, when maybe my expectation was like just be and don't earn and all this stuff, it almost like turns something on. And I don't want to call like the it turns the earning on. Like I don't, if I don't want to, we don't want people to like not like us. I'm not out here trying to earn everybody, and I never was. Even social 2s, self-preservation 2s, they're not trying to earn everybody. So sometimes being asked to do something that you don't think is, not every favor translates. Like
This is so interesting. Okay.
think of it like this. Like sometimes, and this is how I explain with a client, right? Like to, because I coach out of what human life looks like. We're not talking like this is your unproductive. Like we are, but like
I get it.
we're talking real life. So 2s think of other people and whatever they can transact as a slot machine. You win some, you lose some. When you win some, you win some. You win some big, you win some fast, you win some loud. Taking care of themselves or doing these things that they don't want to do, it's like farming, contributing to community without gaining something back. It's like farming. It smells like shit. My back hurts and it takes forever. Like, I don't want it.
So win some, lose some, but what's it like if you're losing? Is it that
Oh
easy
no,
just
we
to
don't
like,
love. Sorry.
yeah, okay.
No, I mean, like the
Made
win
it
some
sound
is
like it's
more.
pretty easy to just be like,
No,
lose
you because
some.
there's a constant pursuit I think that happens in twos of trying to understand how they're going to win this relationship or this thing or how to keep it, how they're going to change themselves to sort of keep it, right? Like,
Even if you already have it.
yes, like there are plenty of times where like there's a lot of I'm definitely filling out very colorfully all of the corners of my resume to the point where maybe I put a language that I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to do all this stuff, but I'm not really. And then you're at the job and you're
Mm.
like, well, I guess now I have to sort of be a person who doesn't need that much attention. I guess I sort of have to be a person that keeps up with this behavior. I have to be a sort of like a lot of times when I'm working with any twos in any kind of relationship, they set an expectation for a preference, a role, um, their job, the dynamic
Hmm.
in the beginning, and they don't want to keep up with it. They don't want to keep up with it.
Okay, you said something I want to drill down on.
Do it.
So I to pretend to be someone who doesn't need this much attention.
Ah, did I say that?
You did. And I'm
No,
so
I
glad
hate
you
that because I
did.
always wait every time. That was a Freudian slip because every time Jeff goes, "Twos want attention," I'm like, "Can you shut the fuck up? Like, stop saying that. I don't like that. I don't want. You know what it is? Because attention and like, look, I'm a sexual too, so I can joke about this. Like, yes, in reality, like, yeah, I want to take my top off. No, like, I when we think attention, we think like this person wants attention. They think like crying for attention, being the loudest person in a room for attention. No. No. I want you to look me dead in the eyes and I want the tiny micro response that happens in your face to fill my love hunger. That's the
Yeah.
kind of attention I want. The attention of being seen. However, that's risky because if I'm seen and known, I'm rejected for who I really am. So what am I going to do? I'm going to elevate the parts of myself that I can hold separate. They're still part of me, helping, nurturing, giving, loving, flattering. They're still part of who I am and what I can do. I'm going to elevate those parts because I can make them separate from me. And then guess what? It's like
Interesting.
lying on your resume and then getting really uncomfortable because you know the time is coming where you have to either commit to the bit in the relationship and like or there comes a point and this happens with every two I've worked with that they are at the point in the relationship where they one of the reasons that we're like not necessarily the most self-aware is because when twos do become aware of something, whether it's in indirectness or complaining or this and the other thing, you are going to hear about it. You're going to know. And like you're going to know.
Meaning what?
Like when we realize we're not being loved, you're going to know. When we realize that like something's not right,
You're
it's
gonna
going to
know
pester us.
how.
You're going to know because we're going to try to change things in the relationship and you're instead of telling you that something is not right, we're going to try to change how things are. We're going to try to spend more time together. We're going to try to do this, we're going to try to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So an interesting point that like comes with every two is like this make or break that they have in some kind of relationship where they have to essentially say, I know we are this far along, or I know I gave you this impression, but I now realize this is what I need. And we have to, what else that like I I take them on the journey that I had to go on myself. I had to make myself vulnerable to rejection and abandonment as myself instead of vulnerable to rejection and abandonment as somebody else.
how? I mean,
You let
that
it fucking
sounds
matter. You let it hurt. You let yourself be stupid. You let yourself be I can't believe this person wouldn't have chosen me. Try to find another fucking person like me. You have to
right.
let yourself be sort of I can't believe he fooled me. You have to let
So
yourself.
how do you not? Because what I'm hearing here, right, is all this
Oh my god,
pride
I'm
and
getting
just
so
like,
I feel like my chest hurts. Sorry, continue.
yeah. Why
Yeah.
does your chest hurt? Tell me more.
Because I remember I'm going to start crying. Okay. I remember being in high school, already really love starved,
Hmm.
and the movie 500 Days of Summer had come out. Did you watch that?
I don't know.
I'm not sad about it now. I'm sad in how much I remember it. Okay. And at the end, spoiler alert, this came out like a very long time ago. I was in high school. Um,
And you can just take your time, by the
they
way.
don't end up together,
Oh, good.
you know. And she's very much like, I found my person, and it's a, and he's like,
Another person.
and it's a different person. And so anyway,
Ugh.
I remember how bad it hurt to not be like, I had already experienced like a like beyond devastating heartbreak at such a young age when it came to love and being, anyway. So the connecting with, this is going to sound like back, okay, connecting with being honest with myself about what I need had to that's not going to change. It's like your shoe size.
Mm,
Wear a different shoe. Wear a different shoe if you want. It's either you're gonna fall in it or it's gonna blister you. You
right.
need what you need. You need what you need. You need it, period. When we're honest with ourselves about what we need, we can separate what our relational needs are, which cannot be met by ourselves, and what needs we have to meet on our own. And when that happens, it starts to set in that it's not less scary to let it hurt. Let yourself be born yesterday. I can't believe this person hurt me. I can't believe I wasted 6 months. I can't believe.
Mm,
But it's connecting with your needs gets you to see the reality without the pride. And the reality is that being in relationships does mean you could possibly be rejected.
yeah.
And I would rather be rejected as someone I'm not, with self-love to back me, or sorry, with rejected as somebody that I am, with my self-love to back
Mm,
me. um
that's the journey. That's what
right,
you're
that's
talking about.
exactly, like, you have to get to a point where you can say, if a spade is a spade, being in a relationship is not a spade. Just
Right.
because you're in a relationship, just because two warm bodies are in a relationship, that's not a spade. That's not a connection. Especially if I have to continuously lie on my resume and drop little hints about what I really want at this place, And I say lie on my resume because we twos do a thing where everybody puts their best foot forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I sometimes I'm like, ugh, to my husband, I'm like, why can't you be who you were on our first date? Everybody puts their best foot forward. Okay. Like, but being someone you're not is a betrayal. And we betray ourselves, and
Self-betrayal.
we
Yeah.
betray others. We
Yeah.
betray others in relationships. We're lying. That's
So
manipulation. But
basically, every first date is just lies, is like a takeaway, also.
if you're a
Just kidding.
sixth, no. If
Right.
you're any other type, maybe, yeah, kind of. It's
Oh
like an
my
interview.
gosh.
It's a romantic interview. Ask a three.
That's so interesting. Okay. My brain, I was just, my
Sorry, I
brain's
got
like, I have to go
emotional.
think about that. Okay.
I,
No, wait.
I'm like, I don't know why that, like, when I got emotional about that movie, by the way, I remember, like, that is the first time I ever remember understanding that it was like, when you said, like, I think your question was something around like when you're like when you don't win the relationship.
Yeah.
That's it's the only word I can think of is puncture.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, there's no other, there's no pain like it. It's puncture to not get the love you're trying for.
Well, and I think that what people need to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it's not like, oh, I experienced that once. I felt that once, and now I never have to feel that again. This is like when I finally get sixes to connect to their fear and they do it and they feel it. Then something else happens that they're afraid about, and they're like, wait a minute. I
Mhm.
already felt that. Like it's such a heavy
Yeah.
lift, and you experience it. And then some part of your brain goes, well, at least we did it. And now now we don't have to do it again. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm imagining that that puncture, there's the big ones, like maybe a lost true big relationship, but I'm guessing there are tinier punctures available day in and day
Yes.
out.
Yes, but I think that it also depends on who we are and how much we're depending on ourselves, right? So the same way that sixes need to
Totally.
need to only be able to say, hey, I can only trust you on the outside as much as I trust myself. I can only get love from you on the outside as much as I love myself. Like that's just, it's not happening. Right. So I think,
Right. But how are you noticing that and calibrating that on a day-to-day basis
what we,
outside of like,
what we're expecting from our relationships, right? Like one of the things that
yes.
I work through with twos at all stages of life and been experiencing in different stages of life is what you can expect from certain relationship dynamics. And what happens too is that sometimes we put things on, let's say, like I work with one two in particular, and she has put, and we talked about this openly, so much pressure on her friends to be something very 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 specific.
Oh my gosh, can we please talk about this for a while?
But
Because
yes, but she cannot be honest with her partner about
what
needing
she
to
wants from them.
what she wants from them. So
So
you're
wait,
needing,
so she's explicit with the friends.
no, the friends are a surrogate for what she won't
Oh,
ask for.
okay. Which I assume you've got to that in coaching. Like
Yeah.
she didn't probably come knowing
No,
that's
no,
what
no,
was
no,
going on, right? Okay.
no.
So how does the pressure look on other people? I mean, I had to have my
Mm.
experience of it, right? One of my closest people is a two, and I am
Yeah.
just like, oh my goodness, like it's constant.
Yeah, no, I think this I'm trying to think because this person was sort of in the, in the arts world. And so I think like I'll make up an example, right? Like inviting, let's say, a group of 7 friends and boyfriend to come to the art show, and you know, needing a very specific type of celebration from their most intimate partner about their interests, right? Finally going, I have an interest of my own. I
Ah,
want to be very seen and celebrated in this interest. This is a very rare thing for me. And not getting it, but not saying it and not wanting to come to terms with needing it because it feels selfish, it feels yucky. Also, if I ask for it, it's not real. And so then, but they still need what they need because there are just some things that like my friends all day can be like, love your content. But when my husband goes, great, real babe, I'm like, thanks. you know?
okay, that's
So
interesting. But
then,
hold on. I wanted okay, finish it and then
yeah.
I'll make a
So
note.
so then, let's say some friends go to the art show, some don't. The ones that don't never loved her.
Ah,
The ones
oh my gosh.
Okay. So then it starts, right? And in reality, some like when we are meeting, when we are honest about what we need and we are meeting our own needs for love and self-sufficiency and self-investment and bolster um fluffing out our sense of self with who we are, right? Then we can look to our most intimate people
Mhm.
for our relational needs and hold them accountable to our relational needs in a direct, human, lovely way based on our dynamics, right? So that we're not asking our besties to give us what our husbands need to give us. We're not asking our kids to give us what their fathers won't, right? We're not doing any of that stuff. It's within those dynamics. But when I'm not honest with my needs, meeting my own needs, and what another person is supposed to healthfully give me, I'm just getting my shit everywhere. I need what I need and I can't be honest with myself. So what do I care where it's coming from? You're not giving it to me and I give you everything.
Okay. We have to talk about this word need.
No. We just did. We just did. May
You
I
know,
ask you, what is you have a, like, you just said you had like a close two in your life, right? And it's not
yes,
your husband, right? Your husband's a one.
he's a one.
Okay. So you like this close to, like, how do you experience, right? Because I still have a hard time relating to how I relate to needs. Like what I'm even talking about with needs is very recent in my own life, right? So how do you
Hmm.
see a two whose pride
Hmm.
cuts them from seeing this entire thing? Like how do you see how twos relate to their needs?
I experience this particular person claiming what she isn't a lot. There's a lot of like, I'm not this way. I'm not that way. I'm not a
From an
person
intention
who,
place or with proof? Like where are we what are we working with here?
She's it's a lot of disclaiming. So it's
Mm,
molding. Here's how I experience it. She
mhm.
is very specifically molding how she wants me to see her, needing, and I'm air quoting it, okay?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what
yeah.
she's needing from me
Mm,
is for me to see her and reflect her to her in a very specific way.
mhm.
And she's getting that from me just by, I mean, of course, she's incredibly flattering of whatever, me and all
Mhm.
my ways. And she's wanting all of that right
Yeah.
back. You know, it's like, please
Yeah.
see me. And to me, it's just so obvious.
Yeah.
And I'm always confused a little bit about how much to just go ahead and give her the mirroring that it's very clear. How much do I just give that to her because I totally love her. And then of course as her, you know, bestie, 60 life coach friend, how much do I like I don't I cuz I'm
Where
like
it's yours
I
to
don't
do. Where it's yours to do, right? Where it impacts the
where it's mine to
relationship.
do.
Where it
And
impacts the relationship, right? I think there is a part where
yeah.
letting someone have it
Yeah.
is enabling, take it from two, right? Is enabling, but enabling somewhere deep down says, I just don't trust that person's competence. And so it's like when it's impacting the relationship,
Yeah.
it is important for you to like speak up for
Or
your
another relationship
or
that
another relationship. But I mean, then is that your place?
exactly.
Right? Like, is it your place to see it, think
I
about
think
it,
what's
respond to it, react to it? Yes, sure, because that's
But I think
yours.
what's
Yeah.
interesting to me is how long lasting this relationship is,
Mhm.
how deep it is, and still how incredibly tender that place it like it
So what I
is.
will say too about like heart types is, have you ever heard the quote, it is impossible to get someone to understand something when their entire identity is based on not understanding it?
Yes,
That's twos,
exactly.
threes, and fours in a nutshell, right? My entire identity was based on being whoever people needed me to be. I wanted to be the irreplaceable, weird piece of furniture in the room that always had a seat and for one specific reason. And I was.
Yeah.
And if you try to tell me, if you try to tell me that I am something that I am, I'm going to reject it because it doesn't match the way that I want to be significant in the world.
Okay, so this is it. Yes. And what's it like for two to have that moment of realization? Like, what even is the realization? Is it like, oh my gosh, I'm not actually doing what I think I'm doing, or I'm not doing like what is a moment of self-realization
I don't
for
know.
a two?
I don't know how that looks on everybody. I know from like my own person, like I
Yeah.
have those moments with people in coaching, but they're already sort of waiting for that moment. So like it's hard to say. I know that for me, before that moment, there's a lot of hidden grief. There's a lot of hidden grief, and
Mm,
there's a lot of like, you know, twos are, this positive outlook type. And what that means is repressing your need for all three of those types, repressing your needs and balancing how much you accommodate other people to some degree and their
yeah.
joy and their happiness and the collective, whatever. A lot of that results in a lot of hidden grief for those types, 2, 7, and 9. So two, like I had a lot of hidden grief. Um, I spent a really long time plowing as much of that grief as I could into another person, into someone else's problems, into later, into
Mhm.
whatever. But at some point, I was alone. Oh, I had lots of people who wanted to reach out to me and millions of Facebook friends and da 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 da. I had nothing and I had nobody and I was lonely and I was starving.
Mm.
So I've been reading a lot of Naranjo to sort of like get back to these roots of
'Cause you wanna feel bad? Is that why you're reading
no.
Naranjo?
No, I want to understand. Anyways, so um and that's been helpful and adjacent with me connecting to needs, right? But connecting to needs also is
Did you share the quote?
not yet, is
Okay.
also experiencing that rock bottom, is also
Yes.
experiencing that like connecting with needs or connecting with anything that makes you human that includes rejection, right? So part of the quote in this book, it says the this experience of love's loss can be liberating. To stop playing the role of an ideal lover, to leave behind the image of overabundance, that representation in which one is always attentive to perceiving the other person's needs, to stop making oneself worthy of love, to release the belief that to be loved, I have to be special, I have to be unique.
Okay, say that last part slower too.
To release the belief that to be loved, I have to be special, I have to be unique.
Can we just be real for a second? Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously sixes have their own version of that. To be
Mm-hmm.
safe, I have to blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there some truth in the conditionality of loving? Like, it's just so interesting to me, this idea of like unconditional love and how we're supposed to just all accept that. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? There's some truthiness in, of
What do you
course, there
think?
are some conditions on.
What types of love do you deem to be unconditional? Is it a long list, a short list?
It would probably be like my love for my children, my love for my husband, which is probably more conditional because, and again, it's just all very theoretical because I'm like, I can actually still love him entirely, but hold a boundary, right? If he did something.
It's it's hard because I think that the only and this is okay, one pain point for me that I have to touch daily when I work with twos is attempting life through the lens of there is no love without risk of loss. Okay. Um,
Yeah, that tracks.
so
Ugh,
I
yeah.
think the only, and
Ugh.
this is like a very painful opinion for me to have because it hurts my pride very much. But I believe that the only unconditional love that can exist on this earth is the one with the most imbalanced power dynamic where you are choosing to be where you are choosing a blank slate to be at your mercy. That is the parent child dynamic. That is like, I think, the only dynamic in which unconditional love has to be necessary for the duration of the chooser's life. Um,
Meaning,
the
say
parent,
the parent, absolutely. I totally
you
agree.
know? So like, I think
And none of us got that. So here we are with all our
right.
busted up selves. Yes.
But a love with conditions
Mm-hmm.
is not the same thing as having to perform as somebody you're not, having to give something
Ooh,
extra to belong. A
there it
love
is.
with with conditions is mutual respect and mutual
There you go.
understanding. It's mutual accountability. It's a love with conditions is not I stop loving you if it's hey, within love is accountability and honesty. I want the twos to know that without all of this, I don't give a rip what your intentions are. You are lying in your relationships if you are not being honest about who you are and what you need. You are lying in your relationships if you're not being honest about who you are and what you need. Period.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Because this is what I feel with my, oh, gosh, she's so close. But I'm like, I feel the wall.
Yes.
I feel the wall. Because not to like to my own horn, but I am very good at genuine connection.
Hmm.
And I'm also very good at supporting people. I'm
Yeah.
excellent at it. And I feel the wall with her. And there are little tiny cracks every now and again, but then it's just right back up. And I'm like, I accept it, but it feels like there's a lack of realness. And I
Mm.
get more and more and more.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. You just
I
kind of
feel
get.
like when a person's like not ready, because I know we've talked about I think this scenario before. When a person's like not ready because of their own lives to be able to look at like when they're not ready to stop doing, when they're not ready to
Right.
get off the streets, what we have to do if we are continuing to say yes to a relationship as it stands now is manage our feelings. Like I am seeing what I'm seeing and I have to manage my feelings about it because bringing it to this person is not my place or my time. If it is, then it is. If it's affecting the relationship
No,
and the
I
relationship
totally
can't be
agree.
as it is, yeah.
I
So
totally
like
agree. What I'm saying,
is there
the point.
something to do about what you are noticing in
No, 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 no.
reality? Yeah.
My point
Mhm.
is what I want twos to hear.
Mm.
is the wall is obvious
Mm-hmm.
and it is impacting our ability to love just you. That's the point I'm trying to make.
We think we want you to love us. We
Right.
think we want to be chosen.
Right.
Being chosen, being wanted, being desired is a natural twos. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Is a natural byproduct of people really knowing you. When people like when I met Kristen and we hopped on a Zoom and we got to know each other, a natural byproduct of that was that I wanted to go on a Zoom with her again. I wanted to refer to her. I wanted to,
Right.
it was a natural byproduct of knowing her. Did she let every wall down right away? No. But we think we want to, what we want is the feeling of being selected. And we don't think that just who we are is going to make the cut. I don't think that we think that there's a wall because we're not looking at it. If I wasn't self aware, I think I'd know. Okay. I'm just kidding. But like there's
But that's it. If I wasn't self-aware, I think I would know, I think is the truest way to say it.
that's
And what
literally,
I'm saying
yeah.
is that actually the wall is pretty obvious.
Right. But I
And that
think to some degree, we don't
it's just
want
you
what
don't want this
comes,
to be true.
we don't want what comes with actually having to connect. We will
Yeah.
try, like,
And
we
I'm
say
saying that we get it. That's what I'm saying. Just like with sixes,
yeah.
you're like, hey, I actually can tell that you're
Yeah.
like anxious and afraid. And we're like, well, let me construct this whole other deal. And it's like, no, we can see
I
it.
can see you. Yeah. That, like,
I
it's funny
can
because when
see
I'm
it.
working with sixes, I'm like, what is your board of directors telling you you're actually upset about, like your besties, you know? And they're like,
Right.
oh, they think I'm upset about my coworker. And I'm like, maybe you are. But like that's
Right.
as people on the outside know what the threat is. People on the outside with the two can tell when you are,
Manipulating.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And then that's the thing. Like I think with sixes and when sixes project and it pushes people, let's say as an example, it pushes people away and they go, I knew it. I knew they were distancing
Exactly.
themselves. Same thing with a two. It's like I knew I wasn't lovable as I was. Be you for a fair sec and then see if you're lovable as you.
But
Like,
even that's not right or fair because it's like people can then have a conflict. Let's do
but
a
that
little
doesn't mean
bit.
you're not lovable as you. But that doesn't mean
That's what
like
I'm saying.
so like if I like the season of meeting my husband was like the most glorious thing. I had called off a wedding. Um and I'd called off a wedding to someone whom I when you respect somebody, right, when you're in a respectful relationship, there's a threshold of asking for the same thing for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of times when it's like a bare minimum thing before it becomes begging. I was begging my
Mm.
ex-fiance to treat me like an equal. My bullshit pattern was I wasn't doing anything different and I wasn't sticking to my guns, right? So I called off a wedding and I was like, I have to revisit this. I have to revisit this. Da da da. And I just remember thinking to myself, I want to find my person and I want these people to find their people. And I had
Mm.
this I don't want to hold up the line for anybody or vice versa. And I was like, if I am who I am and that's not going to change and if I go in with the image with the person I'm going to be able to keep being forever and ever and ever and ever, that person, it doesn't matter if that person doesn't like it. It doesn't matter. Like I had to tell myself that cognitively before it like really hit the heart, but like it can suck because it felt like a burst in my hope and it hurt my feelings. It made me bottom out for a sec. But in reality, that's not data about me. That's data about their preferences.
Right.
So,
And just
yeah.
chemistry and all kinds of
Yes.
things that are far outside of our control. I think sixes and twos really
Yeah.
believe they can do enough things to control how other people see them.
Oh,
I mean,
100. And because I can. Listen,
oh, I mean, I can
listen,
too, but not if
listen.
I want to actually exist in the space. That's what we're talking about.
Right. No,
But you
exactly.
also can't.
Mm.
I mean, if anyone's onto you,
Listen,
then
you
you
know,
can't.
oh yeah.
Same,
When they're
same.
once they're on to me, babe, once they're on to me, I'm Splitsville. You ever heard of the Enneagram 2 door
Oh,
slam? The
the
Door
what?
Enneagram 2 door slam. It was the
No.
my maiden name is Coban. And it was Coban door slam, but it's the Enneagram 2 door slam, like where like the manipulation of a two really is so that like in their hearts you don't know how far they are from you, but they know how far you are from them, right? So they're always trying to come closer. They're keeping a part of themselves a little bit distant. And as you do wrong, as they're stacking up favors and you're not meeting them, loving them, seeing them, the door is closing slowly. And then when something really big happens, and it could even be the result of like a two manipulating or a two not keeping their word, over promising, under delivering, like normal things that happen in accountability, door slam, door slam. Don't even call the fire department. That shit's not getting open. But it was closing very slowly the whole time. And there's not a lot of like, there's not that like that unproductive center is really unproductive because there's no sitting and going like, I really need to productively evaluate how this person treats me versus how I treat them versus what I'm expecting and see if a conversation needs to. Nope. My feelings are telling me go closer or go further. And what we don't realize is happening in a two is the door kind of closes. And as it opens up, it doesn't open as much as it closed. Twos are real rejection sensitive. Like the twos, fives, the eights. Rejection's a funny thing. Even the eights will kill you. And especially because with eights, we always assume that like maybe rejection has to do with another person, and that's not always the case. But twos are very rejection sensitive, and if you like, I'll tell
But to
you,
the point, I mean, you're literally talking about I'm slowly rejecting you.
not being aware of you not being loved is a stress move. Watch a two go into eight real fast when they start to feel the tug of war,
Oh,
which
I know. I've
which
seen that.
is which is like no matter what I give, the way I can sense whether I'm loved by you or not is not moving the needle in the way I need it to know if my sense of self is okay.
So, what's it like to become aware of that pattern?
How do you want me to answer that?
Oh, what do you mean? However, it comes to you.
It like it feels like letting yourself, I have the phrase letting yourself be born yesterday stuck in my head.
I was
Like
gonna say, is it like you're naked? Is it
100%.
like,
Like it's like taking
okay.
your top off in Dutch Park. Like it's the closest to eight I think I'll ever get.
Mm,
I knew like that I think there's a lot of I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have let this person in. Like the thoughts they swirl, they're very unproductive, the feelings, like all this stuff. But
so
at the
shame comes in, is what I'm
shame, it's
hearing there. Yeah.
100% it. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
100% shame. And a lot of it's chirping about my identity, my lack of
Yeah.
significance in people's lives.
Mm, mm,
Like, you are a person built for family, forced to be this distant daughter, so to say. Like, right? Like, there's a lot of
mm,
like who you are is not lovable, and what you're offering isn't even good enough. Like all this, like so much shame, so much
mm.
letting yourself be like just letting your when people are like, how did you, I let my ass hit the pavement, and when my ass bled from hitting the pavement, I said this hurts and I cried. I was honest with myself the whole way through. I was honest with other people the whole way through. That was it.
Mhm.
Exposure therapy, I guess. I don't really know. Like it was one
Mm.
of those things where I was like, the math is not mathing. I want love. I want to be loved. And I don't want to feel what it feels like to get to the end of a breakup and literally freaking know I wasn't 100% with myself. And the only ways I started quasi getting what I wanted were by manipulating. Like, I just didn't want it anymore. The fall was too far from grace to like go back. Like, I didn't have the energy to keep it like a drug dip. I
Yeah.
got too low to the point where I was like, I don't even remember baseline anymore. And
Right.
I was like, it's not worth not being honest. It hurts really bad. Like the shame is really I like there are times when like not feeling loved also feels like 10,000 cameras on me at
Mm.
all times. Everybody can see it.
So it's
Everybody
like the mirroring, but the absolute
the
not
absolute opposite. Like
mirroring that you
everybody
want.
yes, like everybody's
Yes.
in the theater watching Truman Show and I'm Truman. Like
Ooh,
that's what it feels like. But that's the other
that is
the,
so intense.
the gap there, the place I'm at now the place that we have to work through is I must have missed something because a person like heartbreak is heartbreak, it's grief, it's but someone else cannot have that much power over my sense of self. Like,
Yeah.
what did I miss? What did I where like it's like going to the doctor and going, I'm taking all of these B vitamins and nothing is working. And they go, let's see what's up. And then they go, so you're deficient in D, and D is what makes you be able to absorb
Right.
B. Do you get it? So and you go,
Right.
oh, okay, like this thing was able to rock my sense of self, and my but like through the shame, I have to see where I allowed them power, where I allowed my sense of, and that's a hard place for us because that's
Because
where
of the
we see we're
pride.
not. Yep, that's where we see. Well, I'm not loving myself there because I don't like this part of myself. Ooh, and I
Mm.
don't want to see that. I want you to love me because that erases that noise. I hope.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about repairing conflict.
Okay.
So let's say a conflict does occur.
Mm-hmm.
How can all the this will not surprise you. All the questions from my sixes were like, they were so sixy because they were like, how can I adjust myself
Mm-hmm.
to fix, repair, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's so interesting that that's how they're asking. Is there something someone can do? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it really, gosh, sometimes I'm just like, it really is each of our own jobs to
Yeah.
navigate our own stuff. Like
So
when we're so trying to get another person to, right? Because the sixes are like, how can I make them whatever, fill in the blank?
yeah. I think the
But I still want to ask, what can
what
someone
can we
do?
do? We have to, first of all, we have to know what we are actually asking the other person to or not, right? So I was on a group
Yes.
workshop recently, and someone who I think was a three was saying, we're a friend group of three, eight, and two. And our two is always doing stuff, and we don't know how to talk sense into them, and da da da. And so I started trying to like get to the real problem, and it turns out the actual issue was an interpersonal one, was that this two friend trying to belong was doing so many things that they were prioritizing those things over friendship with three and eight. Oh shit, we're hitting vulnerability. So like if we're gonna repair any conflict, we have to be honest about what we're repairing. So when you go to a two, for example, and you say, I don't feel so close and I want to talk about it, like that is like, sorry, let me back up. You're never going to be, you can write the best speech you've ever written in your entire life, but you cannot respond to somebody who, or you cannot control somebody who is ready to kill the messenger the second the messenger walked through the door. So I say that to say, like, you have to also know that, like, the person you're talking to is the container. And if you've brought something, some type of repair in a healthy, level headed way to somebody over and over, and it's not happening or constantly dismissed over and over, there's no, it's funny. I have this conversation with eights a lot because they're very aware of, they get the feedback so much. They're very aware of like where they could go wrong, whatever. They often try to overtake responsibility for having to change because they're used to it. You can't control the other person not being able to receive well. So that's number one. Like twos can notoriously get really defensive because we have an image to maintain. We have our intentions up the front. We also don't want to like, we are really trying to not be seen as selfish. We don't want to be selfish. Like being selfish is a really yucky thing. Like I think it's like
I mean, it's just a human thing, but I can understand
no,
as a
like
two how, yeah.
being hmm, self-focus, fine. Self-interest, fine.
Wait,
Fine.
what?
Now, selfish is one of the worst things about humanity.
But you
Me.
think being self-focused and okay, that's so interesting.
But now as a coach, now as I'm growing, but like when I think of like to my at my core, ask any choose like selfish people who only think about themselves.
Yeah.
Evil, evil. Damn, where was I going with that?
We're talking about
Oh,
conflict
we are talking about conflict. Okay, thank you.
and like how to
So
repair. But what I
so
think what you're saying is what I'm saying is like it can be really hard if the person
yeah,
is already dead set against whatever. And
yes,
the the pride is activated, which I think
Yeah.
defensiveness and pride are probably.
They can 100%. But like
Mhm.
here's the thing. For me, this is just me and I've always sort of been this way. My defensiveness is a feeling coming to the front and I am getting sort of shaken up by something I've repressed for a long time, right? So I'm
Mm.
responding a lot to that, or to the point where like even in my first like 6 months of being married, I like I remember both of us like pulling out the line like you didn't say anything wrong, but I'm feeling really defensive right now. Like both of us at different points. And
Yeah.
so I will also I'll
Very
say this
mature.
being thank you. Twos typically do want to fix relationship issues. They don't always want to hear, or they're not always self-aware enough to be able to rise to what you're saying they're doing wrong. But the hope is
That's a huge thing right there. That's
but
a
the hope
huge thing.
is that like, here's the thing, if you're with a two who really does want to be in relationship with you, talk through it, let it be uncomfortable. I think if you think
Is there a world in which you can say a thing and then like let them go work it through? Like maybe in the moment, it's like really hard to hear, but then they will sort of go away and
that is possible. I do think that's the case. Like it really depends on where we're at, right? And like how it activates us. Cause like pride can be really bad. Like pride can take us in a whole different direction, in a whole bunch of different directions, but it's protecting us from shame.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really hard to, because like really your best bet in repairing with a two is how much they make contact with the healthy side of their shame, which is conviction, how much they make contact with their need, how much they make contact with
Mhm.
their internal self. Now, I'm not saying you have to have the healthiest two on the block, but
Mhm.
a person that you can reasonably say, hey, like, you know me enough to know
Mhm.
we're still going to have a relationship after this. But part of having a relationship is being honest with each other. And I have to be honest with you. Like, I know it's not your intention, but this is affecting me. Like,
Yeah.
this is okay, but this part is not okay. Like, so here's how I feel about it, and here's what I'm asking. Like, reasonable repair is honest and direct and kind, no matter how you slice it. But it depends on the other person. And it's hard because like I think you can get into theory and go, well, twos are optimistic types, and twos will go, we're fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. Like
I don't think too.
I don't think like twos do have positive outlook, right? They're positive outlook types in that
But I
they
feel like they're
ignore.
doing it when other people are upset, is that's when the 2 comes in and
Yes.
goes, because it's kind of like it's like a save the day energy is
So I
how
think
I
like
experience.
positive outlook, optimistic type, I think those things are funny filler words when you think in reality, like they can sort of be linked with nine and definitely be linked with seven. In reality, that group has an imbalance
Yeah,
of how much they amplify the positive stuff and keep the negative stuff away from them. That
absolutely.
is what positive outlook means, right? So it's like you can keep those things at the forefront. You can keep, hey, this person's going to be resistant to the negative data about our relationship.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you can use that, right? That's the stuff that you use to bolster information when you go, I want to make sure then that this person knows our relationship is not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Right? Like I think that's part of um
So then in like you're
yeah.
right, and I totally agree with you. So then in like a work context, you don't have any of that. You don't have
No.
any of this like our relationship's not going anywhere or whatever. It's just like I think that there could just be a lot of complaining about the other person separately. And it'd be really hard to ever actually like
Yeah, that's what I was. So sometimes, like, we have to manage our feelings. And what that
yeah.
means is not just, I have to process through them and see what this means for me. No,
No.
sometimes it means it's like accepting that day after day, this is going to be a problem that's not going to change, not going to be fixed,
Yes.
but also is not like every time you notice it is not an alert. And that goes for any human.
That this is one of the core teachings of coaching adults.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's going to be conflict, there's going to be discomfort, there's going to be people who you don't like and people who don't like you. These do not have to be problems.
And not
This
everything
can
has to
just
be
be
resolved.
not everything has to be resolved.
Mm-mm.
No, it's really interesting for non-productive thinkers like ourselves to get really clear on, wait a minute. What do I
Yeah.
actually want
Yeah.
to put my energy to? What do I want to actually choose to solve? And what do I want to choose to let go? Which means there might be some residual icky feels, which neither sixes or twos like that. I don't
So
know about other folks.
I'm gonna flip this on its head for a second.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna talk about being a two and choosing to resolve a conflict of sorts by being honest with themselves. One, once my frontal lobe developed, I realized that it wasn't my frontal lobe actually; it was the Enneagram, but the Enneagram and my frontal lobe um, uh,
Combo.
got a rad combo. I started realizing that certain people I was positioning myself with and around, um, I had learned very quickly at the beginning of our relationship the same thing I had learned with my family, which is if you really want them to like you, what reality doesn't actually matter. And I know it sounds kind of three-ish, but like I remember telling the truth, really little, telling the truth about who I was and what I needed, and it registering like a fucking tornado, dude.
What do you mean?
Mm.
Like registered in you? Give me an example.
No, okay. Like pretending to want to give my mom, let's say, attention when she got home in a way that she wanted, like she was tired and I gave her like a massage or something. Oh my God. Like all of the love, all of the reverberation, all of the quality time. Um, but when I was, when I said something like, even as a young child, like this doesn't make sense to me. Like you promised me, like I don't understand why you can't do what you promised me, right? Which is a need. What I heard for the first time was that I was selfish, that I was
Mm.
ruining people, like that I was ruining, it was the first time I had learned that somebody that I was getting my sense of self from had considered me not part of them. Like it was the first time I had heard that I was ruining someone's life, right? So there was something in me at a very young age that it wasn't about reading the temp of the room and being that. It was about like if you really want to be a special person in someone's life, the facts don't matter.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I took this into adulthood and I got around a group, and very quickly in that group,
But
something
when you
had
say the facts don't matter, you're meaning what she
the
did.
truth about
The
my,
tr-
like who I am, the real facts about me that I think need to be contributed to the relationship don't matter.
mm. Hmm.
The facts don't matter. I know when she walks in, if her face is like this, she needs a massage to give me the access and the attention. If her face is like this, then I need, like, the facts don't matter.
The facts of your experience in that moment, what you might be wanting,
Me don't matter.
me
Like,
don't matter.
me don't matter. Yeah. I mean, as a
Um,
kid, right? That's probably the best way to,
are you
yeah.
an eldest perchance? Or an only or a
Only, yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting that sixes get labeled with the hypervigilant thing. Cause I'm like, every eldest daughter has this to some
So
degree, right? That ability to like,
vigilance and I think the difference between vigilance and hypervigilance is the purpose,
yes.
the consistency of how constant and what is done with. Anyway,
I was
that's
gonna
not
say,
here nor
and the
there.
behavior.
Yeah.
It's just interesting just to throughout these conversations for people to hear like, oh,
Yeah.
guess what? People other than sixes can be hypervigilant and reading expression and all the things. Like, how are image types supposed to be so responsive to everything if they're
But
not,
I don't notice that I notice. It's intuitive data. Like the only way
but
I
not
know.
noticing you notice doesn't mean you're not
No,
noticing.
no, no, it's true.
Okay.
But like the only way I know how someone feels about me because of how close I know I can get with them. Right? Like suddenly I know I've gotten an in to come closer, to speak more. it's something that like if I flip it on its head and I use it for good, it's something I it has come to aid me a lot in my relationship with fives. Because I love and I value fives so much, and I have different tanks of energy and people reserve than they do.
Mhm.
And so I need to be mindful that I'm fine with them leading the ship in that, and because that's how I value their friendship, whatever. Um, and so sometimes like I can tell because I sort of like I can tell based on how much I am allowed to lean in when I don't want to gain something. Like, but like that it's intuitive data. I don't really quite know how to explain it. Like I
I just
know I can.
also
It's
wonder,
like the ocean. I know intuitively I can only go this far if I want to, if I want to, if I want to have what I want. If I want to meet your needs and you meet my needs, even if that doesn't mean in a bad way, right? Even if that means I'd love to connect mutually,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I have to be cognizant intuitively of I can only go this far, like the ocean. And sometimes that changes every time it goes back and forth, but
Mhm.
you just know. And I don't know how that you know. And I do know it's not by analyzing and putting things together because I wish. I because I wish.
Well, and that's true for sixes too. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
do the analyzing, but that doesn't mean they're not having intuitive,
Right.
hits as well.
You
I
mean you're
also
not keeping track
wonder,
of everyone's consistencies? Sorry.
I'm not. I'm not, but I've done a lot of work, right? Unhook from it. Notice I'm doing it unhook from it. Let them
I
be
like that.
human. I mean, if we're not letting ourselves and other people be human, what are we doing with the Enneagram? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if we're, yeah, I don't, that's
Yeah.
to me, that's the whole point. But
Yeah.
I do wonder about this, like, I know how far I can, I'm just wondering about that. I'm like,
That took a lot of work. I
but
was
no,
very
I'm just
intrusive.
wondering if in the moment it's even accurate. Because how would you
No,
know?
not always. It's not
Right.
always. It's sometimes it's very intrusive. And I'm gonna be
Right.
honest, sometimes I don't give a fuck.
Right. Sometimes you don't care. Sometimes you're wrong. I mean, this is what I mean about like when we
Yeah.
think we know
Hmm.
and we're navigating everything that way. It's like we could be
But
wrong.
I here the important thing, right? I don't always know, but I can always read response in like response to what I'm not sure of.
Hmm.
You can back off based on people's signals. Like I think one of the things that twos do is they double down. They double down.
That is,
Yeah.
or they'll probably back off. But if they're gonna want it,
Yeah.
you're gonna.
So much of what we want and what we want to do would be done with more intention if we if our full self was like sort of at stake, but it's not. Like so like we really like we can be insistent on keeping relationships we've had for many many years because we don't want to start over, but
Mm,
also we know realistically we have to navigate around not being able to tell the truth midway about who we are and what we need. Like
mm.
it's
How
just
many twos know that? General population of people.
no cognitively.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them. I think a lot more than we let on.
Hmm.
No, like in like the it makes its 18-inch way down to the heart, and like no,
Hmm.
I think maybe a good part of them too.
Like if I start
But
this relationship, if I get in on it, if I actually want a connected relationship.
like that can be very true, and they can yes and amen that. I think till we're blue in the face, but you put me in front of a potential relationship, and now we're talking platonic and romantic, whatever, anything. But
Totally,
you
totally.
put me in front of a potential relationship or a potential of getting that love and having that like exchange, call it community, call it what you will. Like all bets are off. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
right. So I think it's hard. One of the like again, my example with threes previously was like you're always gonna notice what the markers of success are in that room.
Right.
The choices to be yourself. When I was like dating and going on dates before like I met my husband, I like yeah, I don't give a frick if that guy tells me his favorite meal is lasagna. I can go, "Ooh, I love lasagna too." And
Mm.
not next date, lasagna at yours, I'll make it. I can choose that. I can choose to go, man, what a great way to impress him and shut my a saying in Turkish, çeneni kapat, which is close your chin, close your like
Like, don't do that.
have some responsibility and sovereignty over noticing and choosing to do something different.
Okay, this is literally a question I have. What does it feel like to not do the thing you want to do?
Panic, panic,
Okay.
panic. When it's relational, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you ask an 8, right? Like how does it feel to not do the things that you want to do? They're like, what do you mean feel? I'm gonna kill you. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, it's for
But
twos.
panic,
Yeah.
panic. Like I'm going to because I'm using the word cognitively here. On a date with Mr. Schmo, I can know that like if I turn him down for this, that, and the other thing, and he gets red in the face and goes like, "You were ugly anyway. Honestly, I didn't want to." Like, I
Mm,
know it's going to hurt. I know it's going to sting. I know I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to go. He didn't mean that, even if it confirms something I felt about myself and da 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 da. Like, because I also know that that's not the type of um love that I'm looking for reflected in my identity. That's not an honest start. If I don't want to do this, I am already lying to him.
right.
It's okay if he doesn't react well. Now, we're
Okay, what if it's something way
mm,
less, like the beginning
mm,
of a platonic friendship?
okay.
And I mean, what would you be compelled to do?
Hmm.
I mean, I literally don't know how
So
a two's mind works.
when I was in the beginning of a a friendship with someone and I was struggling with my mental health, I did something that didn't affect them whatsoever, but
Hmm.
they felt that they really needed to like talk to me about it, call me out, and I think it made them uncomfortable.
Mm.
But they wanted and basically for a long time sat me down and questioned me about this, that, and the other thing. And we had a huge age gap in our friendship. Red flag number one, huge age gap. And I just remember like sort of that thing that went through me again. The facts don't matter if you want this person to like you, right? Take that same friendship and fast forward many, many, many years. I'm not a 9. I've always kept track of the fact that I could not be seen and loved and held in this area. And we've had lots of ups and lots of like, in many, many, many areas. But like, I was cognizant of it the entire time. I just outworked and out earned that feeling enough for like it to go away. So when it got time for basically our friendship to either, I think, go this person's way in a way that would be dishonest to myself, or I would have to see myself out, I chose to see myself out. And to be honest, the biggest challenge to my sense of self was that it was the first time I was essentially pursued back for a conversation and this type of understanding and I
Oh.
had to like my pride was like, "See? It works." And I was like, "No, no, 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 because you got data from this and you'd still have to go back to being someone you're not to stay. This
Mm.
just gave you just enough agency to say it's not right." Like, so I had to like, and it's funny because I think pride in another way can stop us. Pride stops us from, it's like loyalty, right? Like, we're trying to, like, loyalty also means staying loyal to something because the alternative is nothing.
Yep.
So I have to stay here. And that's what love was. Love was like, but this is my family, to so to
Mm.
say, right? That was like my family. But I just remember thinking, like, for 10 years I've had it under my belt that this person, I'll just say it. I'll just say it very, very directly. I attempted suicide when I was 18 years old, I think 17, 18, 19, something like this. And this person that I had just become friends with, like, essentially interrogated me for a long time until I admitted that I did it for attention.
Mm.
Which is, this is a hard pill to swallow because I knew in that moment if I didn't say, like, I wanted to be dead
Hmm.
at that time. And if you are listening to this and you have similar sentiments that play in your head, please call somebody because
Yes. Agreed.
it's not light. And it's not for attention. It's a really scary place to be. And it doesn't matter how many things that you think you want to be here for. You don't have control as much as you think when it gets dire. So I knew I have to say, yeah, I guess I did do it for attention to keep her.
Oh.
And I did. And when you lie on your resume at the beginning of the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
the work gets harder. Right when you start a foundation a friendship by saying, "Yeah, I like this role," or "Yes, I am this person," or "Yes, I will accept this," or "Not, I love to cook for the entire group every single time. I love to be the designated driver every time." Like I love to, and you're not willing, like that haunted me and deteriorated me for a really long time. And I had to not let my pride say, "Go back into where you are loved consistently." And I had to say no, because I need somebody to either accept or reject me for who I am. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that being loved has nothing to do with them. It's all, like, so it was just, it's hard. I think we do talk about it a lot with romantic relationships and stuff like that, but like, it's the same thing. I do find when I work with twos, and I found this to be true in my life, the relational issues in romantic relationships and the relational issues in friendships are very, very different. But all of the problems in twos' lives stem from relational things,
Yeah.
including overspending, under eating, overeating. Like you'd be surprised what comes from needs for love, but your needs for love are always under direct attack by the relationships you're not 100% yourself in. It's not them.
Mm.
They're not in
So
control of
how
how
do
honest
you
you are.
be? I really think this is a question for most people, probably not all, maybe not eights. How do you be your,
Mm.
okay, how do you know when the like personality is uh-oh, right? Threatening and you kind of need to, how do you let the personality fall to the side and be selfie? And do you only do that
Mm.
in some few chosen places?
When I was not as healthy, but wanted to make changes, right? As a two, I called people before I was ready to tell people stuff because I thought that like being very honest was going to be like really what it is being honest with myself and
Yeah.
sitting with myself and knowing all of the facts myself. I am Jackie Contessa. This mattered to me. I did this wrong. This is why it matters. And it connects me to what I need what I need in this way and where I feel a lack in this way and who I
Hmm.
want to be, but feel disappointed. I'm not, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then I call somebody. I think good accountability is very important for a two. I think someone else who is not a two, um, or doesn't have like does is not necessarily like can't be swayed by like knows your antics. And I think this is important for all heart types because um twos have to rely on two reactive types. No matter where we're going, we're doing something with what we're doing. And so I think one of the things I that is really important for twos is that like a two will keep it to themselves because it can sort of be controlled. And it's not about having control, it's about being able to sort of control the narrative of the relationship and what's going on in the issues. When I'm ready to do something different and I have searched in myself, I have to call somebody that doesn't take me seriously or that doesn't like isn't so impressed by me, right? And they have to hold me accountable to separating,
How many of those people do you let in your life?
oh my God, like 4, 5.
Oh, four sounded, that was a much bigger number than I
Yeah,
thought.
no, like and that's the thing, like I'm not talking to them at all, like with all consistency,
Hmm.
like you know what I'm saying. So like, like I'm like I have like an 8 in my life. I have two eights in my life, a 4 and a 9, and and another two, and they are my board of directors. They're like my board, like, and I had like the one of them who's an 8. Shout out Elena. What she is, we are like the other side of each other, and I don't know how else to explain that. And so like she's able to reach in and go, "Hey, usually you know what you're doing. Right now, you need to finish this cry. Give yourself an hour and then redecide." And I listen to her even when I don't agree with her because she doesn't have an agenda, because she can't be earned, because
Mm.
any of this stuff like it is not it doesn't benefit her or her ego
Oh,
to
this.
like, and there's something about that setup of our friendship that lets me have the pride down. Like when I'm friends in real life with other like coaches, who like do the Enneagram and we can share that language and stuff, I don't cross post, we're besties online, because that's not it. The point is like support where you can be supported. And I'm all in favor of like anyone that you can not like let the pride down with. This example was given to me by a 3 client, but I think it works sort of for 2s, 3s, and 4s, where especially for 3s. But she says, I have people in front of the mask, at the mask, and behind the mask, and it gets smaller and smaller the closer
Of
you get,
course.
right? Um,
But hold on, I have to
yeah,
interrupt. So another
please
two
do.
I was talking to was talking about these 2 eights in her life, and she just
Mm,
values them so much. And I think you just hit the freaking nail on the why.
mhm.
It's because eights don't have an agenda with the collective us nearly as much as so
The
many of the rest of us do.
the only thing they want from you is the ability for them to stand on their own because you stand on your own.
Because you stand on your own, right? They are so inviting us to stand on our
That's
own. The
it.
rest
And
of
it's
us are like, can't really.
100%. And so like this and like but anyway, like
It's
being
not glommy. There's a lack of, the rest of us are like glommy and doing all this like
yeah.
stuff. And I'm not like, whatever, eights have their shit. We all know that. But
Yeah.
there's a cleanness. There's a, just a clarity, a no bullshit. It's no bullshit.
No, it's no bullshit. And that's the thing. Like, we have to, one of the things I had to do was tell myself that, like, I've always gone with intuitive data and like how I think I'm making people feel, and that's who I am and how I feel. And so when someone's giving you something hard to hear, you think you've made them mad, you think you're doing something wrong. You have to let your pride shut the fuck up for like 5 seconds, right? Like, what it is like this person who is not going to change their sleep pattern if I take their advice or if I don't,
Right.
like literally is telling me to take a fucking beat,
Yep.
and they love me. Even
Yep.
if I try to tell myself that they don't.
Right.
It's not in my at that point you're like it's willingness. And while we can't wish or will ourselves into being someone we're not, because you can't, you can only be the asset side or the liability side of who you are, period. But the willingness to do something different,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is the only thing required. And from there, an accountability will set you off. A great book will set you in the right direction. Allowing yourself to pain, allowing yourself the naivety of being born yesterday and being tricked by a charming person when you are honestly yourself. Like, who in the grand scheme, I don't want, like there's that saying where it's like, don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. I don't want all of your rejections to keep you from the thing that you are meant for. So you
Yeah.
have to be brave in the face of
I mean,
rejection and
you
abandonment.
saying willingness, I literally teach this all the time. I'm like,
Mm.
the emotion that you need the most is willing.
Yeah.
If you're willing to try to do
Yeah.
something different without, and of course with my clients, it's like, but what will happen if I'm like, I don't freaking know.
Something different will
Try it.
happen.
Yeah, something different. Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be new. You'll figure it out. Um, yeah, I just totally agree with that. But that, like, the power in such a boring word, I think
Mm.
for everyone to hear, are you willing? Are you
Yeah.
willing to try something different? And knowing that you will contact something you don't want to contact. You will contact something that you have a lot
You
of stuff
have to
built up
contact.
around.
You
You
have
have
to.
to. That's
You
the
have to.
point. Yes.
What we do have to wrap our heads around of types 1 through 10, right? I'm just kidding. 1 through 9. We have to wrap our heads around the fact that the thing that we are protecting or trying to protect ourselves from the most feels the utmost threatening. Valid, but not right nor wrong. It's
Right.
it's just not as much of a threat as we believe it to be. And if we can set that to the side, if I can set to the side, hey, I don't need to be in constant scout for markers of my lovability. If I can set
Hmm.
that to the side, I can focus on being myself. There are a
Okay.
lot of, yeah.
This is my question because all of us, I think, when we quit doing our thing that we're overworking all the time, well,
Mhm.
then what do we do instead? Right?
We are,
What
we us, we
we
us,
us.
we
What
us.
opens up exactly?
So I realize I'm the kind of person who likes this and likes that and pours into that and works through how embarrassing and cringy it is to be 30 something years old and feel funny going to a restaurant by yourself, but doing it anyway, even if you feel
Mm-hmm.
sweaty. And like the gift is yourself. The gift is that you get to
Mm.
be who you are with purpose. Like all of the things that I used as manipulation to get what I wanted. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I wiggled the tooth to make it come out faster, and that didn't make me a bad person. Every time I still have all of those things.
I was gonna
Generosity,
say, aren't we still all
the generosity, the
personality? Yeah.
willingness to help, the literal, I still have dessert stomach for other people when it comes to energy. I just do. Like I can be so depleted in my life, but if
I
so,
have reassurance dessert stomach. I'm
like
here for it.
yes,
I
that's
love
what
it.
so
Like,
like
please give it to me. I'm gonna take it.
I'm not less of who I am. I'm
Right.
more of who I am. I'm just who I am without having to like perform it or hide from something or fight for something or be in constant stay in wait of something. I'm not waiting for another shoe to drop. I am just me and life is happening and I'm enjoying it. And it's not about getting through or finding what I want because I am
Mm.
what I want.
Mm.
And if I am what I want consistently, then what's going to be around it is going to naturally fall off. Like, there's something about like dead fruit on trees. Like, you don't have to touch it. It rots, it falls.
Mm-hmm.
It rots, it falls. And when you are natural, like when the tree is itself and is healthy, we don't need it, just it rots, it falls. And when you are yourself, things that are not meant for you consistently will naturally fall away. And you will be able to recognize losses versus like alignment. You will be like, the gift is that you get to be yourself in a way that you like actually understand. That was scary for me when people were like, you get to be yourself, you get to be yourself. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not sure who that is. And I don't know, even sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I go, who am I outside of helping Susie?
Well, if
You
you
know?
if you take the teaching that we ones, twos, and sixes find ourselves outside of ourselves, then when you start to look in,
Yeah.
it's real weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, like there's something
And
to build. There's
one thing
something
about
to
one, twos, and sixes, I think specifically, is we really measure their personality archetype based on how they can relate relationally to some degree, right? I know like they're not everything they do is motivated relationally, but who they are at their core is something that really needs to be explored so much. Like why like twos have interests, like I'm gonna say it like this, right? So it's like a little more understandable, that are four-ish, right? Twos have interests that are eight-ish. Sixes have interests that are all over the map.
Yep.
Sixes have a lot of seven-ish interests, actually. But
What's
I
a
say
sevenish interest?
very adventurous,
Oh yeah, totally.
spontaneous. Like when they're like, so I say all this to say, like, um, we elevate as twos the nurturing parts of ourselves, the helping parts of ourselves. Like it's not that we're someone we're not. We're hiding parts of who we are while
It's an
elevating a very manageable.
over-indexing
Yeah.
on certain. I like this language. Yeah.
So I think being who we are includes what we elevated,
Yes.
but it also includes what we hid. And
Yeah.
that shit is beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
clunky and it's messy and it's like farming and it smells like shit sometimes, but it's really, really, really beautiful. It's beautiful when it buds. It's beautiful when it blooms. It's beautiful
Yeah.
when it's ripe.
Yeah. That's good. Maybe we should close on that.
Let's close.
I'm just like,
Should we run
there's,
away together?
yeah,
I had to manipulate you somehow.
there's just so much. Oh man, Jackie, I always, at the end of these conversations, because of course my brain is like, I have to go think about everything that just happened.
And we think of our best questions off camera.
Well, I'm just so thankful. And I mean, I'm thankful for your willingness, of course, to be here. I'm thankful for your work in the world and just for your personal work and your ability and willingness to share. It's just really special.
Thank you. This was an absolute honor for me and honestly an opportunity I needed to take to continue atrophying my pride
Ugh.
because I'm reconnecting with my fear of need, doing the work for in my personal world for more than 10 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's this was a very stretching and important opportunity to be faced with the reality of who I am, and that it's not bad. It's a really beautiful, lovable thing. So thank you so much. And I hope that every person listening, every two listening especially, just knows that like your needs are not changing, but they're not
Mm.
wrong. But they're not wrong. And the trick of the trade is that you can meet them yourself. And then you'll know what
Oh, okay,
and
wait, we're not ready
yeah,
to close yet
we're
because I
not ready
did
to
want to.
close.
I'm not done. I'm not done with you. What is it like to love yourself, meet your needs? Like just a couple like
Yeah.
specific examples of how you do that.
So, okay. One thing I'll say is twos can be sort of irresponsible with some of the basics. And so that means, like, yeah, maybe you brush your teeth every day. Maybe you don't eat 3 meals a day. Maybe you don't move your body. Maybe you don't do what is
Even
most
self-pres, I
important.
feel like self-pres twos can be
Even self,
pretty dialed
even
in.
self pres. They can be really, that's more like self pres 9, I think.
Like I know twos who
Self
take very good care of themselves. I know ones that don't.
So listen, I'm not talking like hygiene. I'm talking more like basic needs. I'm talking like sleeping, eating. Like often when I have thought I am really killing it, I'm doing the bare minimum of like what people should be doing to take care of their physical health. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, I'm doing hot girl shit. And it's like, you took a 4 minute walk. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I think one thing to keep it in mind is be honest about what your body, heart, and mind need that's tangible, right? Like,
Well, and
do
how
I?
would you take care of a child? Because I think a two,
Mhm.
any two, I think you're just gonna be like, oh, well, I know
Yeah.
exactly like the
So
nurturing and the
one of
care.
the ways, like a great way to think of this is like the switching bodies thing. Like, okay, if I switch bodies with the person that I love the most and I have to give it back to them in 3 months in whatever shit, like what would I tell this person? And it's like, if
Mm,
you can put yourself into, but the thing that makes it stick is that you love yourself. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to do. Like, the reason that sometimes the most basic things feel like the most effort is because the results are not yielding. So you have to do the care for yourself that doesn't yield results. That does mean lotion.
immediately.
That does mean SPF every fucking day. That does mean, hey, listen to me. That means SPF every day. Okay? That was my jersey. Do you hear me? I said, hey, listen to me.
Oh God, that's so
Um,
amazing.
so that like being honest and having accountability in those areas, like the not just physical, but let's call it tangible. There's tangible, like the financial stuff, the physical stuff, right? Taking care of your life, ordering your world. Outside of that, we have needs that come with personal interests, with our deeper emotions. We have needs that come with like our upbringing. Like, this is real. Birthdays are really important to me. Being seen is really important to me. We have to trace these roots to how we can filter that through ourselves. Like when I was younger, I used to hear like you have to be happy by yourself. You have to be happy by yourself. I didn't understand that. What I realized is that to get into any type of healthy being in this world,
Mm-hmm.
we can't go through the world like Swiss cheese. Like we have to have a full, complete sense of self. And when other people stand next to us, we just make a bigger block of cheese. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking for someone to fill my holes. I mean, I'm married, but you know what I'm saying. So that's what she said. Okay, cut that, please. So being honest, like one fundamental thing that twos pride will have them not say but it's very true. Twos don't feel like they can meet their own needs. Twos do not, on a fundamental level, feel like they can meet their deepest needs for love, for self knowing, for I'm like, there's nothing like the internal, I'm so proud of you, just doesn't quite do it the way, like, we don't think that we can meet our own needs. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, we have to prove ourselves wrong. We have
Mm,
to spend time by ourselves doing things that we love that have nothing to do with other people. We have to do
right.
things not in secret because secrets will kill us, but privately, where we
Right.
do something for us and we don't report to anybody and we don't tell anybody that that's our hobby. And we do it just because we love it and it's just ours. And
Okay, what's that like? Like how hard? Like okay, so you do the
it's
thing,
hard. It's
you
really
go
hard.
inside and you paint the painting or whatever you do, and then what do you do?
You do it over and over and over and over
And
again.
what's the feeling experience of not sharing it?
It's embarrassing and it's weird. So, okay, like it's a pipeline, right? It's embarrassing. It's weird. Like okay, up until like 2 weeks ago, I still like I remembered this as I was like studying need and whatever. 2 weeks ago, I'm married to a seven. He's the most. Oh my God, he wants my freedom so bad. He's like, live your life, do your thing, be happy, like build your business. Everything is possible. Let's start a card company. Like, okay, so 2 weeks ago, I went to the most wonderful person ever with my voice sort of shaking, telling him on a Saturday morning, I'm going to put my headphones on because I just want to be in my own world for a little bit. And he goes, okay, the game's on at 3. And in my head, I went to him, not like, look, I'm past the point. I actually don't know if I'm past the point, but like I
It's
was
like,
gonna say,
let's not
I was
say
gonna
we're
say it,
past anything.
but
We're not.
yes, I'm not past anything. To be honest,
No,
I'll always go backwards. But like there was a time in our relationship where I thought everything I brought him was gonna be the end,
totally.
right? So, what is it like? Sometimes still scary, but when I'm in my own, like, there is nothing like the self trust for sixes is different than self trust for two. So hang with me when I say there's nothing like the self trust that is established when you say, I need this, and you do it for yourself. Think of when a parent is the only one that can sort of translate for their toddler, and the toddler's like, and the mom is like, they want their baby snoo snoo wrapper or whatever it's called. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
I do.
When we and you're like, I do. When we do that for ourselves,
Mm,
I can't tell you that instantly everything fell into place because I went into like a different place because I put headphones on, blah, blah, blah. Like that was a very foreish need of me. And there was something
mhm,
in me pressing. I didn't know what I was going to find there. And to be very honest, I just really enjoyed listening to lots of music and not responding to the environment around me. But I know I built something in myself that is standalone. I know I built some type of trust with myself. I know I strengthened the muscle. Sometimes I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym. Sometimes I work out at home and I sometimes I work out at home and I don't feel anything, but the next week I do feel stronger. Sometimes
mhm,
we don't feel the effects right away, but it's very integral to the process, integral to the process.
mhm.
So sometimes it feels embarrassing, do it anyway. Sometimes it feels really good, keep doing it. Sometimes it feels like you're going into your own world is threatening something, do it anyway. Sometimes it looks like taking a minute to yourself when you and your best friend are fighting and you feel like you need to fill the silence, or your husband or whatever. Take take a minute anyway.
Take a minute.
Take a minute. Take a minute.
Mm-mm.
Go into yourself. Go to Barnes and Noble by yourself. Find a hobby. Be embarrassed about how much money it costs. Don't overspend. But like be embarrassed about the taking up the space and doing the thing just for you. Like I'm surprised how much I let my husband see me and the amount of times that come out of my mouth. No, I don't want to do that because then it's just for me.
Ugh.
And he'll go, let it just be for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't, I'm not there. And then he'll be like, fine, I'll get a small ice cream so you can get an ice cream, you know? But, yeah. And sometimes it's about bigger things than that. But like, I say that to say, like, it's a muscle. I will be 89
The
years old.
little work the muscle on the little
Work
things.
the
I am the
muscle.
start small. I'm like start small, start
Yeah.
small, start small. Like quit. Don't expect yourself to be
Yeah.
different and
And
changed.
expect it to be clunky. Like expect it when you go,
Yes.
I'm doing it. I'm filling my backpack with a book and all the things I need to spend an hour alone, and I'm doing it, or whatever it is in your two-ish world that's like I'm investing in myself. I'm doing
Yes.
like let it be clunky, let it be embarrassing. Check your phone every 5 minutes if you need to, and then do it again. Try to do it differently the next time, and then do it again
Yeah.
and try to do it differently the next time. It
Yep.
is um when I ask anybody, how are you in relationships? The question I'm really asking is, how is your self management? And if you do not have a relationship with yourself, a connection with yourself, you are lying to yourself if you think you are in any relationships with people just because you are tethered to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let it be clunky.
Let it be messy, which is hard for I mean, that's just really powerful advice for an
Like we
individual.
can deal with messy relationships, but we can't deal with a messy relationship with ourselves. And that's where we need to work on it.
That's where we all need to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
now we
ma'am.
can close, I think.
Now I can close.
That was a really
Thank
good
you.
little bonus bit. The other problem I'm having with these interviews is they make me want to do a second one, right? So we had this
Mm.
amazing conversation,
Season
and then I
2.
like, yeah, I process, and then I'm like, oh, but now I want to know da 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 da. Da. So
So
who
then
knows? Yeah.
maybe we need to, right? Like I think it's so interesting because what does that I mean, that isn't that the work in coaching and using the Enneagram as part of it, right? Is going, hey, let's see what these layers look like in your life.
Yep.
You know, we all have different things under these floorboards. Let's see what's under them. And like, so I
Totally.
mean, maybe there's more. Maybe there's more.
Okay. Last question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
swear. How? It's like last question. We could talk about it for a full hour. Let's try to make it small.
Mhm.
How should other people show you that they love you?
Me particularly or
Yeah,
twos?
you. Everyone, reach out to Jackie. Let her know how much you love. We didn't even say, I just assumed, because I think everyone does know who you are, but
I don't know if people do. I don't think people know what I'm
I
not
was
like
like,
a
I
I'm
didn't
not a
even
person.
say.
Even though I'm a need to know person, I'm not like a
Jackie
known person.
Contessa is, I always say it wrong. Say your Instagram.
Oh, at Table for Nine Co. It's
At
FOR.
Table for Nine Co. Her content is phenomenal. I
Thank
have
you.
clients send me your emails, by the way, because they love how you talk. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my
And I have to get over
God.
myself whenever I'm like, yeah, she's great. I do.
Listen,
I
just
know.
gonna
I love
say,
Jackie too.
I don't want anything from you, but if you ever need help writing emails, give me a call. I love morale. Um,
Anyway,
anyways, what was your
other than how
yeah,
can people tell you that they love you? Generally, we're not encouraging
yeah,
people to flood
yeah.
Jackie's world with love, but
This is consistent with who I've always been and what I've always wanted. Because there's one childhood friend I think that I was 100% myself around.
mm,
Like they saw everything, right?
mm,
And the one thing that this person gave me that set the precedent for what I knew I needed in my friendships was um, being yourself, holding your boundaries, and allowing me to do the same. That is love, right? And so I say that to
mm.
say, it used to hurt me, 1, 2, and 6. It used to hurt me when someone else had a boundary, even if I knew it wasn't personal.
Yep.
Now I know that the biggest act of love is when a friend tells you, you are not being you. Sorry. And so for me, that said, if you can set boundaries with me, I can trust you with my feelings. I can trust you with my identity. I can trust you to tell me, bitch, you are not being yourself. Get back into your line. And I need that. That is the best way to to see me and love that person so much that you go, you are not being yourself.
Yeah.
That's love for me. It wasn't always. I didn't know how to, the way that 6s look for security in very specific ways. And so they can't name it when they have it, right? Or the reassurance. I used to be like that with love.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, but when I see it, I guess. No, that's what it is the love that I used to be really afraid of is the way that I would feel the most love now. You keep your boundaries and have me be myself. That's
good. That's really good. Okay. Glad I asked. You're the best. Thank you for doing
You're the
this.
best.
I'm going to have more questions.
Ask me anytime.
We might have to do this again. You're wonderful. Thank you. Okay. I will talk to you soon.